Hello and welcome to this micro training video from FMCG Academy. Simply pause on the screen if you want to read the cover slide. So today we're going to jump onto the fourth scenario of the various common scenarios that you get in an FMCG product P&L. So we've already done the higher list and wholesale price requirement. We've done the shelf and promotional pricing, which the retailer might want. We've done the change in weeks on promotions. So today what we're going to do is jump onto the number fourth common scenario, and this is a very common one actually. The retailer may want a higher margin, and this is very common. Retailers do demand higher margins when you're trying to submit a new product in for ranging into onto their shelves. I'd also insist that you've already seen the basic FMCG product P&L, the detailed video, so you understand how the calculations etc. have been done. In terms of how do we do this? We're now into Excel. So this is the original basic FMCG product P&L, and it's got all the descriptors here. So just make sure you've seen that. This is the parallel sheet I've just constructed, and in column HINJ I've just frozen the numbers so that we can capture variance on the P&L versus whatever changes we are going to make to achieve a higher retailer margin. So the green cells have a percentage variance of the numbers, while the red cells have the variance between the percentage of gross sales. So this one is essentially that cell divided by that and the percentage variance, and this one here is simply the variance between those two percentages. So the red cells are all the cost structures, just to see whether the cost component in your total P&L is going up or not. And on column K you can see the absolute dollar variance. So the retailer wants a 26% margin, and this is quite common. You've submitted something at 23.9. The retailer says no, category average margin is already at 25. I need 26 from you, otherwise this is not going to work. So there are two ways you can do it, increase a retailer's margin. One is simply by decreasing their cost of purchasing the product from you, which in itself can be done either by increasing the discount percentages here, or you reduce your list or wholesale price. The list or wholesale price scenario is the more common one. The other way you can increase their margin, and which they have more control over, is the shelf pricing. So if they increase the shelf pricing, they will make more money, and that'll come down. That'll increase their retailer margin. So we're going to look at first in decreasing the list or wholesale price. So I've already calculated this before. So if I take this to 38.85, the retailer margin jumps to 26%. We were sitting earlier at 23.8%. Retailer wanted 26, and bang, everything's good. What happens to our P&L? There's no other real major changes here, except what you'll see is that discretionary trade spend percentages goes up a little bit, and promotional contribution comes down, essentially because we are now calculating off a smaller base here. So the discretionary trade spend does move marginally up as a percentage, but on the overall P&L, if we just go down here, what you're going to see is the gross sales comes down by 2.9%, down 80,000. Discretionary trade spend percentage is marginally gone up, but we're saving a bit of absolute dollars there. Net sales value is down 60,000 because that's cascading down through, and then it goes all the way to your P&L. So you're left with about $60,000 less than you started with. You basically shifted that money to the retailer. So you're 8.4% down on your sales and marketing profit or contribution. That is a common scenario that you encounter in businesses once businesses have planned a new product and they go to the retailer and then they say, no, the margin's not right, etc. The other way you can influence this margin, so I'm going to pop this back to before I do that, actually, just with that change in list or wholesale price, you've not affected anything else really. You've not changed the consumer price, you haven't changed volumes, units, anything. So the other one is we change the shelf price. So you could go back to the retailer and say, okay, no, we're going to still sell at $40. That's what we're going to sell to you at. Maybe we consider raising the shelf price, the everyday shelf price, to $5 and let's say 15. I've calculated this before. So it reaches 26%. So now you're happy. Everything is great. What happens here? Again, discretionary trade spend now jumps up a fair bit. And that basically happens because You were earlier discounting from $5 down to $3.99. Now you have to discount from $5.15 all the way to $3.99 to deliver 26%. So you're giving them 67 cents earlier. Now you're giving them 75 cents. And these numbers just go up and up in terms of the discretionary trade spend, as well as the promotional contribution per unit starts dropping quite a bit. And you can see that in the final P&L down here. Net product contribution is down 2.5%, and you're now down 27,000. So maybe a better scenario, because you were losing $60,000 in the earlier one where you were dropping your list price. But here you're losing roughly 27,000. So it may be a slightly better scenario, but is that reality is the question you got to ask. And that's more so in the case when you are affecting consumer pricing. The moment you affect consumer pricing, volumes and unit sales will change, and they should change unless your product is totally inelastic, which is unlikely. So $5 is a critical price point. Now you've gone over that price to $5.15. What's going to change? Your average unit sales per store per week when off promotion, that might drop to 9. So if when that drops to 9, your gross sales declines quite rapidly, and your P&L now starts looking $98,000 negative, because your discretionary trade spend's still there. Your percentage on promotion has slightly gone up because your base non-promoted units have declined. You might say, well, if I'm now discounting, I've dropped that to 9, maybe this goes up to 21 because it's a bigger benefit to the consumer or the shopper. Possible, unlikely though, but again depends on so many other variables and the segment and the market. But again, you're still back there at $632,000, 10% down from where you originally started. So all I wanted to do in this video was just show you that there are different ways you can look at this. When the retailer demands higher margin, it is going to impact your P&L. How much it impacts consumer sales is a matter of how you treat it and how you manage it. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching.